Okay, Assalamualaikum. Selamat pagi hari Isnin. Bertemu lagi dalam hashtag ini cerita saya versi BTS ataupun behind the scene, di mana kita, warga-warga Yayasan Peneraju, berkongsi koleksi kisah realiti aspirasi dan inspirasi warga Yayasan Peneraju. So pada 14 Februari 2022 yang akan datang ni, kita akan menyambut ulang tahun Yayasan Peneraju yang ke-10. So towards celebrating our 10th anniversary tu, kita akan berkongsi lah, kita akan menjemput warga-warga Yayasan Peneraju. So kita akan cerita-cerita di sebalik tabir apa yang berlaku yang kita dah lahirkan lebih 42,000 penerima faedah seluruh Malaysia sejak kita mula beroperasi pada tahun 2012 sampai ke 2022 melalui lebih 370 program kita dah tawarkan. So hari ini kita ada dua lagi tetamu untuk bercerita, diorang punya cerita dari dua departmen yang berbeza. So boleh kenalkan diri, departmen mana dan dah berapa lama kerja kat Yayasan Peneraju.
Fitrie lagi dulu ke? Okay, thanks Anip. Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone. Nama saya Muhammad Ayinan and kat Yayasan Peneraju ni semua orang panggil saya Ayinan ataupun Nan lah. And I'm from the Strategic Engagement Department which is under Strategy and Engagement. Strategy Engagement ni tak besar. Team kita orang lebih kurang 4 orang je. So I'm the team lead and saya rasa I think if you have all been tuning in to this session, you have met my other 3 colleagues lah, which is Shazana, Nisa and also Fizo. So saya kat Yayasan Peneraju ni lebih kurang saya masuk around June 2018. So kira this year will be 4 years lah in Yayasan Peneraju.
Alright, thank you Ayinan from Strategic Engagement. Alright, saudara seterusnya.
Right, thank you Anet. Thank you for having us. Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera kepada semua yang mendengar. Nama saya Muhammad Fhitrie bin Abdullah, boleh panggil Fhitrie. Berusia 33 tahun dan berasal daripada Johor Bahru. Happily married with 3 kids. Di Yayasan Peneraju saya bekerja di Department Finance dan telah berkhidmat selama lebih kurang 3 tahun.
Oh, lebih kurang ke Fitrie?
Saya masuk pada Jun 2019. So 2 tahun berapa? 2 tahun 9, 2 tahun 8 bulan lah.
Oh, tadi Ayinan Jun 2018.
18, kira after GE lah.
GE. Alright, Ayinan, you said that your unit ada 4 orang kan? So I believe that semua orang ada portfolio yang berbeza. So maybe you can cerita sedikit lah. You as a boss di bawah
tak boss pun.
Your functions lah. Your functions Yayasan Peneraju dalam kita memegang mandat dekat Yayasan Peneraju ni.
Yeah. So strategic engagement ni kalau nak basically kalau nak simplify what we do is that we look into partnerships and collaborations, and what we do is basically stakeholder engagement lah and stakeholder management. So strategic engagement ni kita banyak deal dengan outsiders. Kita orang berbeza lah dengan kalau macam everyone who's tune in dah dengar macam PSDM, PSDM banyak deal dengan scholars semua kan. So strategic engagement ni kita orang tak berapa deal dengan scholars, but we deal with outsiders lah, which is basically our stakeholders, our external stakeholders. So kalau nak ikut historically, strategic engagement ni what we do, the kind of collaboration and partnership that we look for and we look at is at pledges. So mungkin orang semua tanya what is pledges. So pledges ni is basically other organisations, corporate bodies ataupun government agencies yang contribute towards Yayasan Peneraju. So they can contribute in terms of like maybe monetary ataupun benefit in kind. So we approach these agencies, our government agencies ni basically to help us to fund our programs. Because Yayasan Peneraju we do get funding from government, I think as everyone's aware of, tapi sometimes it may not be enough. So that's when we go out and then kita berjumpa dengan other corporate bodies and we basically request and see if they're interested to contribute to Yayasan Peneraju lah. Okay, tapi I think in the last 2 years ni Yayasan Peneraju punya role, strategic engagement punya role has evolved sikit. We no longer focus on pledges sahaja, but we engage a lot more with like other industry players lah from various industries. So what we do is that bila kita engage dengan industry players ni, kita nak tengok if there's a possibility for us untuk to basically to collaborate dengan diorang on programs, and then especially sebab sekarang PSDM pun dah ada program baru yang dipanggil Link. So that is basically an industry linkages punya program. So bila strategic engagement ni kita keluar and then kita engage dengan the other industry players ni, and then we see where exactly mungkin ada program yang bersesuaian. It can be something like a management trainee program or an apprenticeship program, and then Yayasan Peneraju, we come in and then we want to collaborate with those industry players. And apart from that, also sekarang ni strategic engagement, we also engage with like other training providers. So nak katakan kita orang ni lebih kurang macam frontliner pun ada jugalah, because like we are like the first team yang usually akan berjumpa dengan like I said, the industry players, the government agencies, and also other training partners. And then from there kita assess whether they are suitable for us to collaborate with, and then if we find that it is suitable, then we will also give recommendations to basically the program team, the operations team, and then from there we will have like further engagements, and then if everything falls into place, then we will sign an MOU ataupun an agreement dengan the other respective party. So basically that is what strategic engagement does lah. And then apart from that, we also ada, macam saya cakap, companies ni when they contribute towards Yayasan Peneraju monetary tu, every year kita kena materializekan pledge tu. So macam for example PNB they commit untuk pledge a certain amount of money kepada Yayasan Peneraju over 5 years. So every year kita kena ensure that money yang they committed yearly tu is materialized into Yayasan Peneraju. So yang tu proses dia banyak lah, kita kena keluarkan invoice apa semua tu and kena get approval and so on kan. Yeah, so yalah, in a nutshell that is what strategic engagement does lah.
And then did you do strategic engagement juga during your time with your previous company? So kat Yayasan Peneraju is your first time. If it does, apa beza dia?
Actually, macam nak cakap, I did stakeholder engagement when I was in another government agency, and then after that when I move on to another government agency, I did fund management. So it's a combination of both lah. Masa when I was doing fund management tu, I was doing disbursement of funds. Yang tu macam companies datang to the government agency tu, and then they will request for funds, and then I kena assess dia punya project tu, is it something that we want to basically invest in lah kan. So it's a combination of those two, and then I masuk Yayasan Peneraju tu, yalah, the job has been combined lah between those two job roles lah. Okay, so it's a bit different lah now what I'm doing in Yayasan Peneraju. So macam sekarang ni I kena cari potential partners.
Faham?
Kan?
Alright, thanks Ayinan. Fhitrie, maybe you want to share dekat finance kita dah buat Kak Azmah, kita dah buat Linda, tinggal Sophie dengan you je today. So maybe you want to share with us lah your functions kat Yayasan Peneraju. Kat finance tu you buat apa?
Rasanya semua dah ni kot, dah interview.
Sophie belum?
Sophie belum kan? Okay. Alright, so basically dekat finance ada 4 major function. Salah satunya yang I pegang adalah corporate reporting lah. Corporate reporting ni mainly deals with as you know, reporting to our external stakeholders, especially Jabatan Perdana Menteri dengan Economic Planning Unit ataupun kita panggil EPU. So I punya kerja adalah, senang cerita kalau orang tanya, Fhitrie buat apa ni? I adalah budget admin for Yayasan Peneraju. So every year kita akan dapat peruntukan, kita panggil peruntukan pembangunan lah kan, yang diumumkan oleh kerajaan. Kalau kita tengok bajet setiap tahun akan ada announcement, dan selalunya memang akan ada nama Yayasan Peneraju. On average kita dapat 200 juta setiap tahun, on average lah, lebih kurang 200 juta. So I punya task adalah untuk to deal with this money, the whole process, daripada memohon, daripada proses permohonan kepada sampai dapatnya duit tu, and then track the money, how it's being used, and then to ensure the money are being used properly for its purposes, dan juga kena patuh kepada pekerjaan perbendaraan, dan especially kena patuh kepada internal policy Yayasan Peneraju. Itu I punya task lah.
Takutlah aku dengar.
Dia sebenarnya dia sangat-sangat berbahaya, sangat-sangat dangerous lah.
Heavy responsibility.
Heavy responsibility because basically you are being held accountable kalau apa-apa berlaku. If the money dia bagi tu, walaupun RM1 you salah salurkan ke tempat lain, and then ni lah you kena menjawab lah. Kita kena expect Yayasan Peneraju memang sebagai satu institusi di bawah Seksyen 44 Akta Cukai Pendapatan,
Wow.
kita memang dikecualikan daripada cukai, dan kita adalah institusi yang kalau orang bagi kita fund, menderma kepada kita, orang tu boleh diberikan pengecualian cukai, tax exemption. So nak maintain status tu, setiap 2 tahun kita akan kena audit dengan LHDN. So bila kena audit tu, itu pun saya punya task jugalah. Selain daripada LHDN, kita pun boleh diaudit oleh Jabatan Perdana Menteri ataupun Jabatan Akauntan Negara, Jabatan Audit Negara. Jadi ada banyak sangat external parties yang kita kena liaise. Jadi responsibility tu sangat besar.
Betul. Dengar pun dah very heavy lah your responsibility tu.
Yeah, but I believe with the appropriate policy kita boleh kita boleh try forward, kita boleh following the instructions is very crucial kan. Tapi kalau sebagai orang finance ni, bila kita jaga duit tu, jangan, kita kena rigid, of course kita kena rigid, tapi at the same time we have to have the flexibility in terms of ensuring how the fund is better used in another manner. Contohnya kalau kita dapat duit for project A, tapi currently aspirasi kerajaan adalah untuk project B, so we can apply untuk memohon kebenaran daripada kerajaan untuk how about we transfer this kind of this fund to another project to better achieve the current aspiration of the government lah. So kita kena flexible basically.
Okay, with the better policy juga tadi, also with better management.
Betul.
Alright, Ayinan and Fhitrie, I don't know lah you guys ever encountered dengan scholars before, tapi maybe boleh cerita Ayinan, your stories kat Yayasan Peneraju ni, if you ever ada cerita-cerita yang you tak boleh lupa ke, ataupun experience dengan scholars or maybe dengan staff sendiri, dengan staff Yayasan Peneraju sendiri, you want to share with the viewers.
Maybe what I want to share is like macam I think what my experience with Yayasan Peneraju ni, how it has basically in my own career lah, because kan I started out actually in working in corporate, and actually to be specific in banking tau. So when I started out in banking, I started working in 2006. So I joined bank, I joined like the management training program semua tu. Okay lah, fine. Then after that, I was lepas masuk management training program tu, I was rotated, and then I masuk a specific team lah that I decided to join. So that one, when I started my career, I started with business intelligence unit. So business intelligence unit ni was it was basically data extraction, and then doing reporting. So okay lah, tengok I was there for like 3 years, and then I was offered a job in a multinational company. But the multinational company pun again, it was doing the same thing lah. It was basically doing business intelligence, and tapi instead of servicing macam bank punya customers, I kena service like retailers. So masa tu my clients were like macam Giant, Guardian. Tapi over the course of time tu, when I was in the corporate side tu, I was thinking like macam the job for me, yelah, it's a desk job. I ada jumpa orang, tapi at the same time macam cakap, okay lah, basically nak cakap macam boring ke lah. It didn't feel fulfilling sangat lah. So I was looking around for a job apa semua tu, and then tiba, my friend cakap, oh, there's a job in this other government agency. So I was like, okay, maybe I should give a try, and I was thinking maybe it's time for me to make that jump lah kan. So I joined the government agency. So I think from there onwards, my career growth basically and my perspective on things have changed lah, because I think bila I joined government agency tu, it opened up my eyes in terms of like who we are really able to help and who we are able to reach out to. And then I was kira buka mata lah, and lagi it started to feel more fulfilling for me in terms of my career lah kan, because you can see in terms of like who you are helping, kita betul-betul membantu rakyat. And then from there, that was my first government agency. I was there for like about 3.5 years. And then after that, I joined another government agency. And I cakap you too, there was more towards like a funding. And but then that funding too was actually for films. Okay. And then after that, I joined another government agency. And then it brought me to Yayasan Peneraju. So Yayasan Peneraju, like I said, I joined in 2018. But in 2018 tu pun, it was challenging because masa tu baru lepas GE kan. Baru lepas GE, and then I think masa tu things were like
I remember.
boleh kata macam not topsy-turvy juga lah kan. Kita pun, you know, we were worried in terms of where our direction was and all that. And then for me pun at that point of time, it was quite hard for us to do the engagement tu lah, sebab orang pun semua yang macam like, oh okay, mana sebenarnya hala tuju Yayasan Peneraju and all that. So it was actually challenging lah from the time that I joined Yayasan Peneraju, lepas tu 2019, and then dengan pertukaran kerajaan lagi semua kan. But like I said, you know, ever since I joined government agency ni, I think my job has been more fulfilling, and it's even more so in Yayasan Peneraju sebab kita membantu especially students from like, you know, difficult backgrounds, and then kita membantu Bumi Putra. So, and I think it says it all that now Yayasan Peneraju, I can say that is the longest company that I've been with throughout my career lah. So this is already like now 3 years, 8 months. And what I like is that, you know, the exposure that I get in Yayasan Peneraju, I meet with so many different industries, and I get to see what is it that they do, and I get to, you know, decide, and if not decide, I get to like recommend to my team members, like, you know, okay, this is possibly something that we can go into. And then also the exposure to, you know, being with like meeting up with like different ministries, and also sometimes I'm able to meet with like respected corporate figures as well. And like I said, overall, in terms of like what Yayasan Peneraju does, I don't get to experience meeting with scholars, but I get to see it through the eyes of my colleagues. And for me, that is something that's very fulfilling lah, as compared to when I was in the corporate sector. Because like I told you, corporate sector too, yelah, fine, you know, desk job and everything, but that was very boring lah. So now I'm very happy with my, you know, with my career, where it's heading towards, and I hope that this is something that I can, you know, stay and continue to do for a long time.
Okay. Can I say that you finally found a job that you wanted to do?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So Ayinan, tell me about the culture in Yayasan Peneraju. What do you think of our culture?
I like the culture very much, because for me, that is also an important aspect of when I do my work lah. I need to get along well with my colleagues, and I need to have that, you know, close relationship. So in my career pun, some of the reasons why I move also pun is because I don't find that what do you call it, I'm not in sync lah dengan my team members. So in Yayasan Peneraju ni, I would think our culture, we're very much like a family. And you know, but then biasalah gaduh lah kan, adik-beradik pun gaduh. I dengan my sister seorang pun I gaduh juga, but then kita baik balik kan. So that is an important aspect for me lah, and I like that very much.
Ya, walaupun you tak directly involved dengan the scholars, but being part of a journey tu yang buat kita rasa special lah kan sebenarnya.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks Ayinan Fhitrie. Maybe you want to share your stories pula, kalau you ada experience dengan scholars ke before this.
Patutnya I share dulu tau, sebab I share dulu. I punya story ni sangat-sangat boring berbanding dengan Ayinan, you know. Sebab Ayinan is dealing with people kan. Tapi macam I, naturally kan, finance memang all about documentation, you know. Yelah, accounting kan, I nak explain macam mana lagi. Memang deal dengan kertas je lah instead of people kan. But I rasa the most interesting part of my current task ni adalah sebab I ada the opportunity untuk, you know, meet with different people with different interest kan. Contoh macam kalau JPM, dia ada interest dia yang lain. Kalau kita kena jumpa LHDN, dia orang ada interest dia orang yang lain. So dekat situ ada perlukan jugalah negotiation skill kan. So itu sangat-sangat, yang itu adalah part yang menarik lah. You know, how we negotiate with people, how do we influence them, you know, to follow our direction. Jadi yang itu adalah yang paling seronok lah, I rasa. And especially bila kita nampak, you know, bila kita memohon untuk menggunakan certain fund untuk the other fund, you understand tau, kita boleh nampak apa tujuannya kita alihkan dana ni ke projek yang lain. You know, sekarang ni kita kena serve let's say one particular group of people, and then you really understand kenapa PSDM nak buat this current project. So you understand the importance of moving the money. The question is, how can you influence kan JPM ataupun EPU untuk agree with your proposal. So that is the huge chunk of ni lah yang I rasa the main happiness lah. Kerja memang stress kan, sometimes it's very stressful lah, dealing with people. Sangat-sangat stressful because yelah naturally JPM, EPU, they are the frontliners kan, boleh kita kata frontliners of the coffers kan. So kita kena follow their rules, but at the same time we have to justify ourselves and what we are going to do. Sebab basically there are a lot of people and there are a lot of rakyat yang memerlukan bantuan. Jadi setiap keperluan rakyat ni, setiap lapisan masyarakat ni keperluan ni berbeza. Jadi we have to make them understand. Di pihak kerajaan, they can see the bigger picture, the bigger picture. What are the nations, what are the goals of the nation, apa yang kerajaan cuba capai dalam masa 10-20 tahun akan datang. Seperti yang kita tahu kan, ada wawasan kemakmuran bersama 2030. Itu dah ada, memang dah ada. Tapi at the ground, on the ground level, we have the better picture. Kan? We have the microscopic picture. Kita boleh tengok apakah sebenarnya keperluan sebenar rakyat yang ni lah yang memerlukan. So that is the most important task lah yang I rasa yang I perlu buat, yang ada direct influence kepada kita punya penerima manfaat.
Okay. Tapi dulu did you ever, I pula tanya soalan Tapi dulu did you ever work in like banking ke apa, Fitri?
Well basically memang sebelum ni memang corporate lah. Memang for profit. Tak pernah. This is my first time masuk dalam non-profit punya organisation. So the scenario is very very different. Dulu ruthless lah. Sekarang pun ruthless juga, tapi for different purpose. Dulu memang sangat-sangat everything is about profit. Everything is about margin. I dulu bekerja dalam manufacturing industry. I pernah bekerja di sebuah syarikat yang menghasilkan produk cap kipas udang. Cap, sos dan sebagainya. So yang itu satu. Lepas tu once I berhijrah ke KL daripada Johor Bahru, I diambil untuk bekerja dengan sebuah college swasta milik penuh UTM. So it is like a UTM punya private wing lah, So kita kena buat money, buat duit untuk UTM. So masa tu kerja I untuk ni lah, the specific task given to me was that I was part of the team yang kena turn around the company, daripada from red to black lah kan. So that is the task lah. Jadi sangat-sangat mencabar. Everything is about money, dollar and cents. Tapi masa tu I dah nampak, like dealing with students and students with different backgrounds kan. Dalam masa syarikat ada tanggungjawab untuk maximize the wealth of shareholders, kita pun ada tanggungjawab terhadap scholars kan, terhadap students. Jadi itu adalah similarity lah, ada link lah sikit between tempat kerja lama dengan tempat kerja sekarang. But basically sekarang ni instead of looking at the bottom line kan, tengok profit, tengok margin, cost management and what not. Sekarang ni dia punya task adalah untuk memastikan setiap ringgit yang diberikan oleh kerajaan tu digunakan dengan sebaik mungkin, disalurkan kepada tempat-tempat yang sepatutnya lah kan. Untuk ni lah basically to change people lives kan. Jadi itu dia punya different dengan tempat kerja yang lama.
So how do you feel about that, the difference tu?
Sangat-sangat menakjubkan lah. Sangat-sangat. Sometimes very it was very, kadang-kadang bila kita fikir balik I rasa sangat-sangat terkesan lah, ada kesan dekat hati ni, because we know when we are doing something, apa yang kita buat, apa yang I buat tu adalah untuk for the people kan, for B40 lah especially kan, untuk orang-orang yang sangat-sangat memerlukan. Memang I tak pernah jumpa diorang directly, but every time you enter any figures dalam your report, you tahu yang benda ni ada kesan dekat people's life. So it is very satisfying, of course, because I have the capacity, the ability to help to directly influence people's life lah, compared to bekerja dengan corporate dulu kan.
Okay, insyaAllah lah in the future maybe you guys akan ada personal experience dengan scholars, so maybe you can feel sendiri the experience dealing with scholars, pergi camp ke, pergi outreach ke apa ke. Alright, Ayinan and Fhitrie, towards celebrating our 10th anniversary, maybe you want to share your advice ataupun your hopes towards Yayasan Peneraju ke ataupun kita punya existing scholars or potential scholars.
Maybe Fhitrie, you want to go first this time?
Harapan I kepada kita punya scholars lah kan, kepada scholars Yayasan Peneraju, bukan senang kita nak dapatkan dana daripada kerajaan. Setiap tahun kita fight kan for the best budget that we can get. Tapi yelah, naturally yang kita mohon tu kita mohon lah, dapat tak dapat tu belakang cerita kan. But yang penting bila dapat tu duit tu kepada Yayasan Peneraju, scholars kena faham lah, maknanya duit yang kita dapat tu bukan senang kita nak dapat. Jadi scholars should be spending this money wisely. They should focus on their studies, dan dia kena ada rasa bersyukur sikit sebab duit yang dia dapat tu kan, peluang yang dia dapat ni bukan semua orang dapat kan. Kita faham sangat-sangat ramai memohon dalam program-program Yayasan Peneraju ni, tapi hanya segelintir yang dapat.
Betul.
Kan? Jadi it is best for our scholars to focus on their studies, to understand that whatever the government is spending on them is the people's money, you know, it's like an amanah to them to focus and to really excel on their studies. Harapan I kepada masyarakat umum ataupun orang awam, kita kena rebutlah peluang yang kerajaan berikan, peluang yang ada ditawarkan di Yayasan Peneraju. Dapat tak dapat tu belakang cerita, kita apply, kita mohon, you know, for the betterment of ourselves, dan juga kita kena ubah nasib keluarga kita, you know, like kalau kita memang dah fall into the category B40 dan dah layak sangat untuk memohon dalam program Yayasan Peneraju ni, especially, just mohon aja and try to do our best, ubah nasib keluarga, dan you know, sama-sama kita realisasikan aspirasi Perluasan Kemakmuran Bersama 2030.
Alright, thank you Fhitrie. Memanglah.
Dahsyat Fhitrie.
Yeah.
I have to finish strong, right?
Macam politician pun juga kan. Yeah, but I think for me pun, of course I agree with everything Fhitrie says in terms of like with our scholars and all that end. But my dream and my hope as well is that, you know, Yayasan Peneraju will continue to do what we do, that we'll be able to realize more aspirations, and I want to see and I hope to see that Yayasan Peneraju is going to keep growing stronger and stronger. And you know, if we can be like in the near future, like we are the preferred government agency of choice for like industries and other agencies to work with in terms of like human capacity building and so on. And you know, I don't know if it's possible if we can be as big as Mara. That is something that, you know, I hope that we are able to do. And like I said, we are going to be the preferred government agency of choice for all agencies to work with. I mean, I already see that, insyaAllah, you know, it is already happening, because especially in the last 2 years ni, makin banyak orang nak berjumpa dengan Yayasan Peneraju. But when I go out and when I go to other states too, other people do say, oh yeah, saya tahu Yayasan Peneraju ni, pernah dengar. Tapi what is it exactly that Yayasan Peneraju does tu, dia macam like, oh, tak berapa sure. So my hope and dream is that also that when we go out in the next 10 years ke apa, kita pergi jumpa orang, kita dah tak payah even to like really introduce ourselves. They will already know what is it that Yayasan Peneraju does, and they are looking forward to actually collaborate with us.
Good to know
so
lah.
that is my
good outreach lah. Bagus.
Yeah.
Yayasan Peneraju, well, we are trying very hard lah every day to actually increase the quality, quantity and the relevance of improved talents seluruh Malaysia. So macam Fhitrie cakap tadi, yang dapat semua tu memang very very lucky lah. So memanglah ada hiccups kat mana-mana kat sistem tu. So kalau ada isu ke apa ke, just jumpa je mana-mana officers kat Yayasan Peneraju tu for us to help and guide je lah whichever that we can. Alright, I think that's it, Aina and Fhitrie. Thank you very much for your sharing and for your stories.
Alright, thank you, Anand.
Thank you Anand. Thank you Ainan.
Untuk program kat Yayasan Peneraju, you guys boleh layari laman kita www.yayasanpeneraju.com.my ataupun follow kita punya social media accounts di Facebook, Twitter dan juga Instagram. Alright, sehingga berjumpa lagi di episod yang ke-24 dengan tetamu yang lain pula. Alright, again thank you very much Ayinan and Fhitrie. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Anan.
Faizal.
Thank you, Fitri. Bye.
Waalaikumsalam.